Hey, what's up everybody, Nexel here. Today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and I'm sorry I haven't posted in the actual past entire week. I've been pretty busy with some life stuff, unfortunately, that I wasn't able to account for, so that's taking up a majority of my time. But for today, we are going to be talking about the Black Friday sale. I'm going to go through each individual part of it, and then I am going to say whether or not you should buy on certain things, what things are more worth it, what things have longer value. So before we get started on this, I just wanted to say, yes, it is a Black Friday sale deal, meaning that it is limited time only. Odds are this is going to be only offered once, unless they have like this change of thought and they're just like, oh, well, we got more players to spend jewels during the Black Friday sale. Maybe we should have more sales like this so that they spend more jewels, more money, things like that, you know, more corporate business kind of stuff. So what I really want to say about this before we get kicking is be careful about your jewels, because no matter what resources are here, jewels are the infinite value. Jewels will maintain their value throughout the months, throughout the years. If this game lasts 10 years, maybe some things go out of style, but their form of currency is not going to change. So your jewels will always maintain value. So no matter what you do, I would recommend dropping no less than 15k if you've got Kingdom Hearts 3 nominee, and no less than 30k if you don't have Kingdom Hearts 3 nominee, because odds are Kingdom Hearts 3 nominee is going to come back as a 5 or 10 mercy pull based on, I don't know, maybe VIP will get the 5 mercy, and then free-to-play will get the 10 mercy. But regardless, Kingdom Hearts 3 nominee is the best medal in the format right now, because it buffs, because it attacks, it can be used as a raid medal. It's got so many things going for it. It's still the best medal in format right now, and if you don't have it, I would highly recommend you save enough jewels to at least mercy it if it ever comes back / when it comes back. So remember, it is a sale, but don't get too caught up in it, because if you get too caught up in it, you end up with no jewels, and then again, you find yourself in a scenario where you don't have anything, and you never want to end in a scenario where you can't buy anything. So that's just my personal thought on it. No matter what the sales are, don't drop below 15k, and then if you need Kingdom Hearts 3 nominee, don't drop below 30k. That's just going to be my standard rule of thumb, unless you have some sort of means of recovering jewels, like buying VIP or like actually paying into the game. Unless you have those resources, don't drop below those two values. That is going to be my general advice before we start talking about the Black Friday sale. But alright, let's get this party started by talking about the Metal Trait Enhancement sale. And oh my goodness, this is what people wanted from the Moogle shop from the day it started. So for 1,000 jewels, you can buy one of any of the following traits. So let's actually go to the shop so you can visualize it here. So for 1,000 jewels, you can buy one of these traits, which is really good. No matter what game you're playing, as long as there is some luck involved in it, so whether it's like trading card games, whether it's like gacha games, being able to choose and select is the most powerful skill that is out there. Being able to say, this is what I want, and that's what you're getting, is amazing. So being able to buy these traits for 1,000 jewels, being able to say, I want this trait, bam, that's great. There are 11 traits in the entire system, and then one trait roll has a 1 in 11 chance of hitting. If you're looking for ground, for example, there's a 1 in 11 chance that that trait medal is going to hit it, or you could just spend 1,000 jewels, boom, you're done right there. So being able to select is fantastic. So what we're going to do for the newer players, if you're a veteran, you might want to skip this part. What we're going to do for the newer players is we're going to talk about these traits and why I think it's super valuable you're able to select them. So talking about ground and aerial first, no matter what scenario you're in, ground and aerial are great traits. There is literally no scenario where you want to be doing less damage. I've never seen it before, or at least I'm not drawing upon it, but you want to be doing damage, and ground and aerial are going to be vital for passing that high level content. Because remember the mechanic. So if this is the enemy's defense and this is your strength, if the enemy's defense is higher than your strength, you're only dealing 1 damage. Now with ground enemy defense minus 60, let's just say, again, you're fighting like a ground enemy, you have that trait, then you're going to bring this defense down to here. And this difference right there, that's your damage output, and that is going to be greater than 1. So sufficient to say that ground and aerial are amazing traits because they allow you to pass content, and content is how you're going to get rewards. It's how you're going to speed up through the game. It's going to be how you get jewels for things like the Hades quest. It's going to be how you beat the foretellers. So doing more damage is always a good thing in this game. So ground and aerial, fantastic traits. And especially if you have a big beefy medal, like let's say you have a Kingdom Hearts 3 Nominee, for example, and you want to use it for damage, but you just don't have ground on it. Boom, you just buy this trait and it's good to go. So for example, for me, I pulled from the Foreteller deal the other day and I got an Aced. So let's go to it real quick here. So I got the Supernova plus Aced, and if you look at my traits, I've got a max gauges where I would want a Strength plus 1,000. So again, I could just go to the shop, select Strength plus 1,000, and boom, I'm done right there. So more damage output is always a good thing. I don't want to buy anything right now. Alright, so ground and aerial, fantastic traits, especially if you're just missing it on one medal that's almost perfect, but just missing that one trait. Now, extra attack is really, really good based on the medal it's on and based on what you're using that medal for. So, for example, on buffers like Kingdom Hearts 3 Nominee or Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie A, HD Xion, what have you, perfect. Having extra attack on that medal is really, really good because you're getting twice the buffs, you're getting twice the healing. So it's just really good to have extra attack on those medals because buffing yourself multiple times will deal more damage. Now, where it gets tricky is having extra attack on damaging medals. So let's say you have for example, Supernova plus Aced. So having extra attack gives you 2 hits. It gives you 2 activations of that medal, which is equal to more damage. However, with a lot of the newer medals, they affect count. And affecting count is one of the most important things you pay attention to when it comes to fighting certain enemies. So for example, let's go over, check out our second form Sora here. So second form Sora deals 11 hits. Now remember, there are two types of counter enemies out there, red counters and blue counters. And blue counters, every single hit that affects count will decrease that counter by 1. Now let's say you're fighting an enemy that has a blue hit counter of 15. So second form Sora, without extra attack, would get that down to a counter of 4. However, with extra attack, second form Sora would get it down to a count of 0, and the enemy would unleash its counter attack. Now this is good or bad depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking to use recovery buffing, that's great. Being able to activate the enemy's counter attack in the middle of your own turn allows you to maintain your buffs between revivals. So for example, let's just say we activated second form Sora twice, we got upright metal strength plus 3,000, and then the enemy uses its counter attack, knocks us out, we come back with like HP recovery or second chance, and then we maintain that 3,000 upright metal strength. So in that scenario, it's really good. However, there are certain enemies where their counter attack is more vicious than their regular attack. So for example, Nightmare Charithi, when you bring Charithi's counter down to 0, it will hit you with an attack that both paralyzes you and poisons you unless you have paralysis resist 100% and poison resist 100%. So in that case, decreasing counter is worse for you. It actually puts you in a worse scenario. So extra attack as a trait is really good on buffers for sure, and on damaging medals based on what you're looking to do. For recovery buffing, it's great, but in other scenarios where you're not trying to recovery buff, where you need to find means of keeping that enemy's counter up, it can make you struggle just a little bit. Now, Strength plus 1,000 is more of a filler trait. It's the kind of trait you want after you've gotten ground and aerial and on average extra attack. Strength plus 1,000 is good for increasing the amount of damage that you do. However, I wouldn't go shooting for it. I wouldn't go chasing for it because it's just 1,000 strength. In the grand scheme of things, it's not going to be too much. It's not going to be like the game-breaking difference between you passing and you not passing. It's going to take multiple strength traits stacked on top of each other to make that difference. And remember that there is a pet trait, Strength plus 2,000, which is worth 2 of these. So having the strength is more of a filler trait. Once you have ground, once you have aerial, and then on average once you have extra attack, then you can start aiming for strength plus 1,000, but I wouldn't go spending jewels just chasing for that one trait. Damage in raids is a really solid trait if you are a raider or if you're looking to level up to get those passive skills and to get those boards that give you 5,000 jewels. Because damage in raids, you can buy this 5 times. Now remember that most tier 9s, most tier 10s, if not all of them, have 5 trait slots. So this is equivalent to pretty much a perfect raid medal. So let's go to my medals real quick and check out one of my raiding medals. One of my main raiding medals, I should say. Alright, so taking a look at, here we are. So my Kingdom Hearts 3 Aqua has damage and raids 220% right now. I could just replace these two traits with damage and raids 40% by spending 2,000 jewels, and then she's a perfect raid medal. She's perfect because when you have damage and raids stacked that many times, because remember, damage and raids stacks, that is going to be damage and raids plus 300%. 300% is a crazy amount of damage. That means the medal is doing 4 times the amount of damage it would normally do to a raid boss when it has all those traits. Now keep in mind, this is more for like raiders. If you're just looking to pass content, if you're just looking to pass like big bonus challenges and things like that, damage and raids isn't going to do you much. But if you're a raider, this is perfect. This is excellent because you can make pretty much a perfect raid medal. And again, the big thing for raids is that you want to have Lux++, and you want to have speed. You want to be able to do a lot of damage in a short amount of time. And doing 40% more damage with each damage and raid skill that stacks is amazing. That's a lot of damage, and that is going to increase your efficiency. It's going to make your raids faster. And remember, for raids, fast is what you want. You want to be able to deal a lot of damage in a short amount of time because of double Lux hours and because of when your party presses the Lux button. You want to make the most use out of time when you have those limited time frames to fight the raid boss without any sort of AP cost, or when it's just, again, like double Lux hour and your party presses your button. So speed is the name of the game for raids, and having damage in raids as a buyable trait makes that very, very quick. If you look at the top raiders, they pretty much just have setups that are all damage in raids. Even the pet trait has damage in raids 100%. So if you want to raid fast, if you want to be in a party that has a high Lux requirement, or if you just want the personal achievement of leveling up yourself, getting those passives, getting those avatar boards, damage in raids can be pretty vital to being able to do it quickly. So that wraps it up for the raid traits. So let's move on to the next part. Moving on to the next part of this Black Friday sale, we've got the skill enhancement. Now, there are only 2 skills that are available for purchase, so let's go ahead and check them out here. So if we go to the shop, the 2 skills that are available are Attack Boost 8 Max Lux++, and Defense Boost 6 Max. So let's talk about these real quick. So Attack Boost 8 Max Lux++ is the highest max Lux++ skill that we have right now. Being at Attack Boost 8 Max is relatively respectable. It's the minimum Attack Boost Max that I would use in order to put on a content passing medal, because right now, again, we're at Attack Boost 11 Max. So it's likely that Attack Boost 9 Max is along the way, coming in an avatar board relatively soon, I'd say within the next month or 2. However, having Attack Boost 8 Max Lux++ as a skill that you could buy for 1,000 jewels is really good. We just finished talking about raids, and remember, the thing about raids is you want high amounts of damage in a small amount of time, and having Attack Boost 8 Max Lux++ is going to make sure you're getting through that enemy quickly while maximizing on your Lux gains. Because remember that Lux++ gives you relatively 4 times the amount of Lux you would normally get in comparison to a medal without Lux++. So you want high amounts of damage, high amounts of Lux in a short amount of time, perfect for raiding, and you could buy this 3 times. So let's say you have 3 medals and they're all at like Attack Boost 6 Max Lux++. Well, now you can upgrade them for just 1,000 jewels each, which is really, really good in my opinion. Remember that a regular avatar board costs 2,500 jewels, and it comes with skills that sometimes you need, sometimes you don't need. Lately, they've been really good, but if you're a raider, or if you want to be part of a raiding party, or you're new and you want to level up quickly, you could just buy 3 of this for 3,000 jewels versus 2,500 for an avatar board where you might not need all of the skills on there. So again, selectability is the name of the game, and that is just super, super powerful. Talking about Defense Boost 6 Max, I really don't think you should buy it as long as you already have 3 Defense Boost 5 Maxes or more, I suppose. So the thing about Defense Boost Max skills is that they're mainly for PvP. And right now, PvP, the rewards aren't super good. So let's go to my shop and take a look here. I've got 166 platinum tickets. I've just never needed them. The game came out with ways to get Supernova Plus medals anyways, so at that point, they effectively killed the Tier 9 dual Meow Wows, because even pulling from this banner right here, if you get a Tier 9, it's already Supernova Plus. So there's really no point to the dual Meow Wows. So they have to revamp PvP before I can really recommend having a higher Defense Boost Max skill that's above Defense Boost 5 Max. So I just don't think Defense Boost 6 Max is necessary. I think it was the Hector avatar board where we talked about it, but having Defense Boost 5 Max decreases the amount of damage you take down to 10%. Having Defense Boost 6 Max decreases the amount of damage you take down to, I believe, 8.33%. I think it was like 1 over 12 damage is what you're going to be taking. And that's like a 1.7% difference in damage between Defense Boost 5 Max and Defense Boost 6 Max, which I really don't think is such a big gap that it would make me want to buy this skill so badly. Really, I'd only buy this skill if you're newer, or if you only have like one Defense Boost 5 Max skill and you wanted to be doing well in PvP. So that's really the only scenario where I think buying Defense Boost 6 Max is particularly relevant in comparison to having Defense Boost 5 Max. On average, with the stuff that's coming out nowadays, if you need Defense Boost Max, odds are 5 Max is going to get you where you need to be. And if you have that already, there's no need to spend on Defense Boost 6 Max. So that wraps it up for the skills. So we are going to go ahead and talk about the next part of this deal. Moving on to the next part of the sale, we have the 3-color gem sale, and this is ridiculous. I cannot stress how good being able to buy these 3 sets of gems are for you. So for 1,000 jewels, you can get 300 power gems, 300 magic gems, or 300 speed gems. So I already have it pulled up here, and this is a crazy deal. 300 gems for that cost is ridiculous for anybody. So let's compare it to a high score challenge. So for the high score challenges, the ones that are out right now, let's actually just head over to the quest. They can give you upwards of 30 of each gem if you rank in the highest tiers. So going to the high score challenge itself, if we go to rankings and then we go to rewards. So if you're in the highest echelon, if you're like the first, then you get 30 of each gem. Even the second, how far do you have to be down? I believe it's like top 10? No, wait, top 50. All right, so top 100 gets 30 of each gems. Now, that's a lot of effort. That's a lot of medals you have to pull. You have to pull a bunch of 21% medals in order to get that high, very, very likely. Or you have to be super, super smart with your setups. But that gets you 30 of each gems. Now, let's go to the shop and then take a look at that Moogle shop thing again. So, looking at the Moogle shop, you can get 300 power gems, 300 speed gems, and 300 magic gems for 3,000 jewels. That is 10 times the amount you would get if you were top 100 in the high score challenge without requiring you to pull for medals, dedicating time to doing the high score challenge itself, requiring that your party members do really high, because remember, this is a very special high score challenge where it's reliant on your entire team. So that's just really good to be able to get that amount of value very, very quickly. 1,000 jewels for that is crazy. Even looking at the ranking raid weeks, I believe you can get 5 of each gem. I don't remember what I got the last time I did the ranking raid week, but I believe being in top 100 gets you 5 of each gem, and this is like 60 times the amount of value. And it didn't require you to raid. It didn't require you to sit down and spend copious amount of hours raiding. It didn't require you to have a bunch of raid medals to get that high of a rank. This is just, boom, instant value for 1,000 jewels. And you could buy each one of these things twice. So for 6,000 jewels, you're getting yourself 600 power gems, 600 speed gems, and 600 magic gems. Now, I would argue that right underneath jewels, in terms of value, is gems. Gems is probably the second highest disposable value that we have in this game for the reason of leveling up your Keyblades. Now, let's go to the Keyblades real quick so I can just kind of show you what I mean. So Keyblades will maintain their value throughout the entirety of the game. There is no way that they're going to make the Keyblades not maintain their value. They're the main attacking thing for this game. I'd argue that having a stronger Keyblade is more important than having a strong set of medals, because the Keyblade will maintain its value throughout the course of the game. The medals will come and go. They'll be outdated. So at some point I had a bunch of tier 8s in here, but now well, minus this one. But now I don't have any other tier 8s aside from my buffer. They've all been replaced, but my counterpoint has stayed level 35 for what would I argue maybe like the past year and a half. So having those gems is pretty infinitely valuable because you level up your Keyblade with them, and then that Keyblade is useful to you throughout the entirety of the game. So being able to increase the strength of your Keyblade, being able to increase those multipliers is going to be a long-lasting value that will maintain its value throughout the course of the game, through months, through new medals, through new format changes. The only real way they can make Keyblades have less value than they already have is by introducing a new Keyblade or boosters. Those are like the only two ways I could think of on the spot where a Keyblade would get worse, or where it would be a waste to put gems on a certain Keyblade. Those are the only two real scenarios I could think of. So being able to buy gems, that many, level up your Keyblades, is a crazy amount of value. It's so important for me to get across the point that these gems are important that I created a chart. So this is a chart that shows you how many gems you would need to get to level 35, how many gems you need to get to level 50, and then how many gems you would need if you're already at level 35 and need to get to level 50. So looking all the way on the left at that 2 level 35 column, so it requires 170 power gems, 173 magic gems, and 173 speed gems. Granted, we're not looking at the sun and moon ones because you can't buy them, but it requires that many of power, speed, and magic gems to get all the Keyblades that are currently out to level 35. Granted, I did not include the bad guy breaker because in global we can't get it to level 35, but as you can see, buying each of these once, buying each of these gem values once gets you level 35 Keyblades. And for me personally, level 35 is the standard for being able to pass content. You need to be able to consistently output damage, and I think level 35 is the bare minimum for passing with all Keyblades. So again, here's the chart just for your reference if you want to keep looking at it. To level 50, you need like 7,000 of each power, speed, magic gem, which is crazy, but we're looking at the level 35 column. Again, the one all the way on the right is just for people's reference. So not only that, but leveling up Keyblades will give you passive effects. So if we go here, if we go to passive, so the reason, let's go ahead and hide this. So the reason I have like power metal strength plus 0, magic metal strength plus 0 is because I haven't leveled up my Keyblades past level 35. So this is where the value comes in for veterans that already have those Keyblades past level 35, because at that point you start stacking those metal strengths, and that's going to be very important. So buying the gems for new players gets it up to level 35, which is good. Buying gems for the veteran players allows you to get those passive effects from increasing your Keyblades level. So if I haven't stressed it enough, buying the gems is super critical, and it's really good value for the amount that you have to pay. It's likely I'm going to spend 6,000 jewels just to get all of this value and to be able to level up my Keyblades if I want to. Granted, that's the thing. If you don't want to level up your Keyblades, if you feel very content with where you're at in terms of your Keyblades levels, you don't have to buy this, because again, jewels are higher than gems in terms of spendable value. So I think this is probably the best part of the Black Friday sale, but to each their own. Base it based off what you need. So that's it for the jewels section. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next section of the Black Friday sale. Moving on to the next part of the Black Friday sale, we have this returning medals deal where you could spend 5,000 jewels to get a copy of Kingdom Hearts 3 Pirate Sora, Kingdom Hearts 3 Kairi B, Kingdom Hearts 3 Aqua, Ultimate Form Sora, or Kingdom Hearts 3 Dark Baymax. This is a pretty solid deal in my personal opinion. Being able to bring back these sort of outdated medals and having people spend 5,000 jewels for a copy of them is really good. Remember that some of these were either VIP locked, or you had to pull multiple times. You had to pull like at least 10,000, 15,000, goodness, my math. You had to pull like 15,000 jewels to get a copy of one of these medals. They come back for 5,000 jewels. That's really sweet because it saves you 10,000 jewels that you normally would have had to spend in order to mercy the medal. So I think this is a really solid deal, especially for people that have like a medal that they wanted just for sentimental reasons, but they couldn't buy it. So I know some people really like Pirate Sora's outfit. I know they really like the world. So I could see someone just wanting to buy this medal just because they like it. And remember that some of these medals still actually have relevance to today. So when we're talking about these medals, in terms of what I think the best ones are, number 1 is going to be Ultimate Form Sora. Number 2 is going to be Kingdom Hearts 3 Kairi B. Number 3 is going to be Kingdom Hearts 3 Aqua. And then I wouldn't even put Pirate Sora and Dark Baymax in the rankings because I really don't like those medals. I really don't like their format. At this point, they were meant for a lot of damage. And we have better damaging metals that hit all enemies, and they don't have a crazy condition like damage plus the more enemies are left, where if there's multiple enemies it does ×1 multiplier, and where there's one enemy it does 17 multiplier. We have a lot better metals out right now, so talking about Pirate Aura and Dark Baymax is almost a moot point unless you really want those metals for sentimental reasons. So talking about these metals really quickly, first of all, I think this is something, again, that they should just have. This is just something that they should just put in the shop permanently for older metals. Just a thought. For example, if they put like FFRK Sephiroth in here for 5,000 jewels, I'd probably just buy it just because. But anyways, let's talk about the 3 metals that I think are the top contenders for this returning metals deal. So talking about Ultimate Form Sora, this metal is still amazing to this day. So remember that it increases upright metal strength, so that's all upright metals, by 1,500. Having extra attack on this thing brings that up to plus 3,000 without affecting enemies' count. Super good. And then it also buffs. So with extra attack, it gets you up to plus 14 upright buff. It gets you to plus 14 power speed magic buff, and then minus 14 upright debuff on the enemy, and minus 14 power speed magic debuff on the enemy. That's really good value. That's really, really good value, especially if you're only running around with a Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie A and you don't have the Kingdom Hearts 3 Nominee yet. Buying Ultimate Form Sora could be one of the best investments you can make right now, as long as you're able to get good traits on it. So remember that if you buy this, you can buy the traits from the shop, and we're looking at roughly a cost of minimum 8,000 to get this Ultimate Form Sora up to where you need it to be. But in comparison to a Mercy, that's really good. That's still ridiculously good. On top of that, remember that Ultimate Form Sora, whenever you activate his special attack, does super effective damage always. Always. And remember, we did a video talking about the change in the damage, like how they updated the multipliers and how much damage you do. Doing super effective damage does 2 times the amount of damage that you would normally do. So when it comes to, like, let's just say you compare this to a tier 10 metal, you're fighting a power enemy, and then you're hitting it with a regular speed metal, that's going to do like 0.95 times the amount of damage. But Ultimate Form Sora, because he hits for super effective damage, will hit ×2 multiplier. And that's crazy, because that means this tier 9, with the right traits, can hit harder than a tier 10, just based off that super effective damage alone. So I think that Ultimate Form Sora still has a place in my top 10 list, if I were able to make one right now. So I think Ultimate Form Sora, if you don't have him and you're willing to spend the jewels on both him and the traits to get him to be good, excellent value. I definitely think that's pretty solid value. The next best one to get would be this Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie B, and the main reason is while she is outdated comparative to like a lot of the metals that are out right now, her Supernova attack still gives you plus 5,000 upright metal strength. So that means it affects all upright metals. It doesn't matter if they're power, speed, or magic, and that's a lot of good value there. On top of that, her regular attack, special attack, will give you plus 500. With extra attack, that's plus 1,000. So that's plus 6,000 for the turn where you activate her Supernova attack for all upright metals. Now, that's just really good. It's really, really solid as a buffer metal now, because now you can put like Defense Boost 6 max on it, Defense Boost 5 max, you could put Second Chance on it. So while Kyrie B is outdated, she still has a relatively okay spot in terms of a buffer. I personally wouldn't spend 5,000 on her, but it is still a good metal for people that are still trying to get their feet off of the ground and kickstart their game. So Kyrie B was only available as like a 10 pull Mercy in the past. 5,000 jewels, pretty sweet. You don't really need anything that's not extra attack on her, so that's only 1,000 more jewels right now. That's just really good value in my opinion. Moving on to the next metal, Kingdom Hearts 3 Aqua. Really outdated at this point. There are a lot better metals like Second Form Sora, Ultimate Form Sora, Dissidia Leon, I believe, is better than Kingdom Hearts 3 Aqua. Envy, Supernova Plus Envy is better than Aqua. So Aqua's kind of outdated, but it is an Aqua metal. If you're a big Aqua fanatic, then by all means, if you want this metal, you should get it. Do what makes you happy. This is one of those points where maybe its meta relevance has gone down, but if it makes you happy, it's still like a solid investment. It does still increase magic metal strength by 1,500 with extra attack that's plus 3,000. So while it is limited to magic, it is still a solid choice. It doesn't affect enemies' count. It only does 3 hits, so that's optimal like amount of damage for a rating, because remember, for raids, the less amount or the more amount of damage you do with a less amount of hits gets you more bonus Lux. So solid amount. Kingdom Hearts 3 Aqua, just a decent medal overall. Not nearly as good as what we have out right now. But as you saw from some of my earlier setups, I still use Kingdom Hearts 3 Aqua. She just has that solid amount of value for me right now where my game is. And then we're not going to talk about the other two because I just don't think they're particularly good. But this is more like a fan favorite thing. Again, if it makes you happy, get it. Otherwise, I would say pass on it for the time being. Get Ultimate Form Sora. Get Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie B before that. So that's it for the returning medals. We're going to talk about what is either one or two more things before we wrap up this video. For the last part of this Black Friday sale, we have this trait medal sale, and what in the world is going on with this? So for 1,000 jewels, you can buy 99 traits of a specific medal. That's wild. 99. I thought it was a good deal when I could buy Ultimate Form Sora traits, or I'm sorry, Second Form Sora traits. 300 jewels got me 30 of them. Now 1,000 jewels can get me 99. There is no way you are not able to get perfect traits within 99 trait medals. I think the statistical odds of it are so low, I'm not even going to calculate it. So being able to get 99 traits not only gets you one perfect medal, it can get you upwards of 4 to 5 of the same copy perfect traded. And that can be a lot of value. So for example, let's just say you're like me and you have a bunch of Kingdom Hearts 3 Lees. Kingdom Hearts 3 Lee is a copy medal, and he's still going to have some relative value in comparison to these tier 10s. So I have, how many Kingdom Hearts 3 Lees are there? There's a lot of Kingdom Hearts 3 Lees. There's at least 5 on the screen right now. If I bought 99 traits for Kingdom Hearts 3 Lee, odds are I could get at least 2 or 3 of these to perfect traits. So being able to buy those 99 traits can get multiple medals up to perfect trait status. So that's a crazy sick amount of value right there. Now, if we go to the actual shop, one of these things that I want you to notice is it changes. It changes every single day, and that actually makes this a little difficult to navigate. Because let's just say you want to save your jewels, because my general strategy is saving jewels to the very end, seeing what's available, and then buying from there. Because these are only available one day at a time, means that you have to be pretty picky about where you spend your jewels. So for example, I could use a lot better traits on my Kingdom Hearts 3 Roxas, and I could get 99 of them right here, but what if something better comes down the way? What if there's a trait board for something that's more vital to my strategy, and I'd rather spend my 1,000 jewels there? That makes these traits very, very tricky in order to figure out which ones you want to purchase and when. Because if they just keep releasing trait medals for things that you need and things that you want to get better, then you could be spending a lot of jewels without even realizing it, because you'd see your jewel counter go down by only 1,000 at a time, and that can stack up really, really fast. So these trait medals are kind of tricky because you have to make more or less on-the-spot decisions about them. So I like this for sure, especially if you know what you're looking for. Odds are, if you want to kind of guess at which medals are going to be available, it's likely they're going to be part of here. So if we go into the draw odds of the Sephiroth deal, it's likely going to be the trait medals for these guys here. So like Fortellers are going to be in there. KR21 we saw was already in there. Luxor it's probably going to be in there, which is going to be super good value for some people. Second Form Sora is probably going to be in there. Pirate Form Sora, all of these are likely going to have that 99 trait value come out. I don't know which ones have been released already. I kind of missed the first 2 days because I wasn't really paying attention or playing that much recently. But odds are, if you want like a forecast of what's coming out, it's probably going to be the ones that are released in the sale right now. So that would be my forecasting for this particular deal, but 99 traits is super good. Even if you're unsure if you want it or not, if you know you're going to use that medal, then 99 traits right now can be a really, really good value. Like Kingdom Hearts 3 Roxas is still vital to my PvP strategy. So this could be really important for me to buy him right now. Even if it expires in 2 hours, I'll still be able to make good use out of it. Again, 99 traits can likely perfect 2 to 3, if not more, of the same medal. And if you have multiple copies of that medal, that can be really, really good value for you. So let's move on to one more part before we cut off this video, and it's going to be just a brief summary on the draw that's out right now, because this is a big jewel sink in my opinion. So we're going to talk about this just a little bit before we wrap up this video. So for the last part of the Black Friday sale, we have this Black Friday Supernova deal, which is good on paper, but in concept, it can be very, very bad. So I'm not going to talk about this banner too much. I'm not going to be talking about the Sephiroth. That's like literally a whole separate video that I'd have to go over. But what I'd recommend is that you just do the free pull and stop. Because to Mercy the Sephiroth is 42,000 jewels. That is a lot. That could get you a bunch of traits. It could get you all those gems. It can get you even a few extra skills if you wanted it to. So 42,000 jewels is a lot of jewels to be spending just to get a medal that I think is actually sort of subpar in my personal opinion. The real deal from this comes from the fact that tier 10s and tier 9s that were released after Kingdom Hearts 3 Roxas are available in the pool for this particular banner. That is where the most amount of value from this banner comes, because otherwise we need to do like 5 mercy pulls for these things or 10 mercy pulls for these things. You could just get lucky and then get that medal right away. But this is all gambling. You could end up with a bunch of tier 8 Supernova Plus medals that you're not going to use. And that's just not good value when you have it compared to all the things that are out for the Black Friday sale right now. So I wouldn't pull on this past the free pull. Speaking of the free pull, let's go ahead and do our one free pull. So let's take a look at the draw odds real quick so I can kind of show you. So Dissidia Sephiroth is in here, Dissidia Cloud, Dissidia Leon, Supernova Plus foretellers are in here, Key R21 is in here, which I wish I could have gotten. Larxene is in here, Sykes B is in here, Luxord is in here, lots of good stuff in here. Granted, there is like a 69% chance that you're probably going to get a Supernova medal you weren't looking for, but let's see what we could get off the free pull. So I'm hoping for a tier 10 medal. If we could get the Luxord, that would be ridiculous. Oh, it's upright. All right, foreteller. We're aiming for a foreteller. Come on, foreteller. Can we get more than one? Oh, we got 2. Ah, we got enough. Oh, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. We got 2 Supernova medals here. So this is pretty good value. Because I actually don't have a Kingdom Hearts 3 Ventus. So I actually, now that I have them, that's actually pretty good. Unfortunately, I think I missed the Kingdom Hearts 3 Ventus trait medal deal in the Moogle shop. But see, that's sort of what I was talking about earlier. You might want to pull the traits just in case you run into the medal like this, which is kind of crazy. So I was able to get a new medal off of this. But again, that's the most amount of value that this banner is going to add, is the fact that those medals are included in the pool, but they're not guaranteed. Whereas things like the gems, the things like traits, those are all guaranteed. And that's really good value in my personal opinion. When you could guarantee it, when you can select it, that's a lot better. So I did the free pull. Maybe I'll do like a pull here and there for fun. But no matter what, again, my general rule of thumb is that do not drop below 15k jewels if you have Kingdom Hearts 3 Nominee out, and do not drop below 30k jewels if you don't have Kingdom Hearts 3 Nominee, because she is the best medal in format, and you want to make sure you at least have one copy of her moving forward, and then at the very least 15k gems, or 15k jewels for whatever is coming out in the future, because again, you never want to be in a spot where you have no jewels. That is not a good place to be in, because if they release an amazing sale, you could be screwed. Like, honestly, long, short story, you could be really screwed by selling or by buying just everything that you can see and then not having any jewels left. There are still 8 days left for the Sephiroth banner, though, so we can talk about him a little bit more in a separate video, but right now, I would just recommend don't pull for the banner because nothing is particularly guaranteed. So that's just my general take on it in comparison to the rest of the Black Friday sale. So we talked a lot in this video about what I think is really good, the pros and cons of each particular thing, and where we need to wrap this up is, what do I think you should get? And really, it's going to be based on what you need. You might need some resources that are available now that someone else might not need. For example, if you're in a raiding party and you have to hit a minimum amount of Lux every single week, you might need the Attack Boost 8 Max Lux Plus Plus skill, as well as the Damage and Raids traits that are available in the Moogle shop. Whereas someone else who doesn't care about raiding at all won't need those. If you are having a hard time passing content and you have a bunch of tier 10 medals, but they just don't have the right traits, you might be better off just buying the ground, aerial, and extra attack and then being able to pass that content with medals that you already have that don't have good traits. If you need 99 traits of any one thing just to make sure you have multiple perfect copies, then it might be in your best benefit to just buy the 99 traits. So really, it's going to be based on what you need, what you think is going to future-proof your game. In general, my thoughts for it are that you should buy the gems, you should buy the trait medals, so the 99 trait medals. Underneath that, the trait medal enhancement ones, where you can pick one specific trait and then get that on a medal. After that, the returning medals, and lastly, the skill enhancement. So that is the general order of things: gems, trait medals, medal trait enhancement, returning medals, and then skill enhancement. That is just the general thought on my thoughts for what's going to last the longest. Those gems are going to have the longest amount of value, whereas skills and medals will have lower amounts of value because they get replaced over time. So what are my thoughts for the future on this? I think that some of this stuff should be permanent. I think that they should have these returning medals be available like maybe once a week. They'll bring back some outdated medal that people might just want for sentimental reasons. For example, if they brought back like key art number 2 and I had to spend 5,000 jewels for it, I love the look of key art number 2. I would just spend those 5,000 jewels for sentimental reasons because it would make me happy. If they brought back Final Fantasy Record Keeper Sephiroth, I might do that too. So I think they should have this every single week where they have one medal that's outdated, it's just blatantly outdated, come back for 5,000 jewels, because it could be meaningful to some people that need to fill out their album, that want to have that medal in their possession. So I think this should be a permanent thing. I think that they should also have the traits, this be a permanent thing, once per week per player. So I think that every week, every single player, whether they're free to play or VIP, should have access to at least buying each one of these traits once for 1,000 jewels every single week. That allows just enough smart strategizing for you to be like, okay, I need these medals to be good. So I'm going to use my once per week on this specific medal. I think that's fair to free to play and pay to play. So that's my general thought. I want at least this deal, those two deals really, to be available per week on a somewhat limited basis. Realistically, I just think it should be part of the game. So I love this Black Friday sale. There's a lot of good things to get, but remember that your jewels are at risk. If you just think you should buy everything and anything, your jewels are at risk. So that is my general thought. Make sure you save your jewels because there could be some better stuff coming after this. But if you really need something, you really need it. And I can't even argue against that. If you only have 1,000 jewels and you're just missing ground enemy defense on a single enemy on a single medal that you know will carry you very far, get the ground. It's going to be based on every single person. My general thoughts are just general thoughts. It might not apply specifically to your account, and I don't want to say like don't do this when it could potentially help you a lot. So with that being said, I'd like to open it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to drop them down in the comments below, and I'd be happy to help when I have the time. I do have a Discord, which is that way. No, it's that way. I'm still never going to get this right. So there's the Discord. The Discord question for the week is, what is your favorite tier 10 medal and why? Specifically more tailored for those that are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. But what is your favorite tier 10 medal? I'd like to know, is it the animation? Is it the way the medal looks? Is it because it's your Union's foreteller? Let me know what you think. But with that being said, that's the end of this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, until next time, take it easy.